What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another backyard simulator session. Today we're doing something a little different. I want to get this video out as quickly as possible. Today is July 26th, Tuesday. About 15-ish, maybe a little bit longer now, maybe closer to 20 hours ago, the Garmin Golf app released an update. I know some of you saw that there was a beta release for the actual unit. I did get in and get that. I think that might be a total, basically every single unit can get that now. So what I did was, before filming this, I came out and I hit about 30 shots with different clubs, and I think I dialed in some of the settings to get really accurate numbers here compared to, if you've seen the other videos, everything was about 2 clubs short outside of 100 yards. So before making this, I went in and I used the Garmin Express app on my laptop. It only took about 30 seconds. You plug it in, you turn your actual R10 on, you plug it into the computer, and the Garmin Express app will pick up that the R10 has been plugged in, and it updated to 4.2, I believe it was. So you want to go ahead and do that. I believe this will still work, and it was working before I even updated it when I just did that, so this should work regardless, and that update will automatically get pushed to your phone over a certain amount of time anyways if you don't do the Garmin Express directly. So basically what I want to do is just show you what I've done and how I set everything up. This is basically like my second time doing it now, but from what I got, it was pretty close ballpark numbers, so I'm going to show you what I do. This is basically the screen you'll see when you pull up your Garmin app. So what I'm going to do is just press the Garmin power button on the R10. It's turning on. You should see it here pop up. Alright, we're back. I had to turn on the internet out of airplane mode just to let it update quick, or let it get connected to the internet connection. So now you see I turned it on. You can see that it's connected up here, so we're going to go into it. It says connected. You can see, if you press that sync button that you're seeing, I believe that's what will eventually push through that 4.2 update for the actual Garmin unit. I already did that with Garmin Express like I explained. So what I do is I line up my mat to where I want it. The R10 is on a DIY leveled stand. I might do a video on how I made that in the future. I put a ball here. Sometimes I've tried to put it up on a tee or directly on the mat. I don't think it matters too much. I couldn't tell a difference, but I like to have a ball there. I always go in before I use it every time, go to device calibration right here, press calibrate. Only takes about 10 seconds. And it's done. So what we're going to do is go into the driving range. So as you'll see right here, this is a new menu. It says choose one of our virtual driving ranges to track detailed statistics on every shot. You can even record videos of your swings for playback. So we're going to press start training, and now this is new. Now instead of just having a single driving range option, we now have 4 different ones that you can pick. You can see on the pictures how they're all a little bit different, kind of similar to basically the Target sessions, if anyone has used the Awesome Golf trial, or if you actually have it. So this is a pretty big improvement in my opinion. But what is the biggest? So we're just going to go into the first one. Now this is the biggest improvement in my opinion. This is also going to be the same if you play the Home Tee Hero, so the actual courses like you see I've done. This will make a lot more sense if you actually have an R10. But what you're going to do is you can set the distance, which I think will be more applicable to people that are indoors. I've left it at 7. That's pretty close to 7 from what my setup is, from basically the ball to the R10. And now what you're going to want to do is go into the weather conditions. So I was going to have to block it out, but luckily it's not picking up, because I think I'm on airplane mode. It's not picking up my precise location. So previously what you've seen, and we can actually try it here, what you've seen in all of the Home Tee Hero videos, and if you use your driving range in its current state, I believe it's currently picking up basically your altitude, the humidity, and the temperature. So just as a point of reference, we're going to leave it at this. Beforehand it was picking up my local weather. It was about here, and that altitude is correct from where I'm located. So we're going to leave it here, and we're going to go in and change it afterwards just as a point of reference. So this is the newer driving range, is the basic one. we're gonna hit 6-iron. Now on course, I suspect and I play this 6-iron to be about 185-ish, 190, my 190 club. If I hit it a little bit thin, I'll get closer to 195, 200. If I hit it fat, it'll be closer to, you know, 175, 180, 185, somewhere in there. But it's definitely not gonna go what you've been seeing me hit with all these, about 20 yards short. So this is basically the standard setup that everyone's been using in the current settings that are in Home T Hero. I'm gonna hit a couple shots with this, then we're gonna go ahead and change the settings to what I found are relatively close in the ballpark. I still need to tweak some things, but it should give you guys a good start to where you can put it to there, and then you guys can tweak things either up or down to how you see fit. So we're gonna hit a couple. I'll probably hit 2 or 3 6-irons with just these settings. You guys can see the numbers. Granted, all the strikes matter. If you're hitting them thin, you're gonna, if you slice one, everything's gonna be all relative to how you hit them. But hopefully I get at least 1 or 2 good strikes in here. So that was decent. That was a little right, or a lot right, as you can see, but meaning that wasn't super thin, it wasn't super fat, and it didn't hit wildly left or right onto the mat. So we've got 161 carry, 166 total. This video, I'm not really super concerned about the dispersion or the deviation left and right, although that does seem to have improved and is a little more sensitive now with the 2 new updates, which is, I guess, good if it's accurate. So gonna hit 2 more here with the 6-iron. Again, on course, this is closer to 190-ish for me that I play it to. Now that was fat and to the left, so that's gonna be even shorter than that one. It said it picked up. Somehow that was longer than the previous one. I had to wake up the R10. I did see that that's been an issue. I did just update it with the Garmin Express, so maybe that's why it's happening. I did see some people saying that with the new 4.2 update, the unit keeps falling asleep. So hopefully that doesn't happen too many more times. We're gonna hit 1 more here with the 6-iron. That was probably the best one of the 3. So that was only 1 yard to the right. That was basically dead straight, at least for me. 175 total, 168 carry. So from what I play on course and what I've been saying for all my videos, that's right around 20 yards short. That should have been closer to 190, 195 total with the rollout, and probably closer to 185-ish, even 188 in the air. So as a good baseline, you've seen that. Now what we're gonna do is go in here. You can either do it before or after, and again, this will be the same in Home T Hero if you're playing the actual course. So what we're gonna do is go in here and we're gonna go to custom. It was already there, but now what we're gonna do is put the humidity up to 65. I was using 85 before for the temperature, and then the altitude, similar to what people do on E6 Connect, I'm putting it to 45. So 4,500 feet on the altitude, 65% on the humidity, and 85 degrees on the temperature. So now, same 6-iron, same ball, Pro V1, a little dirty, but it is a Pro V1. Make sure the mat is still good. And now what we're gonna do is hopefully hit a similar shot to that one where it's only a couple yards deviation left or right, but you'll see the pretty drastic differences here in the yardage. So that one was right, but as you can see now, 29 yards right, which is really far right. That's not a great shot, but the big difference here is 183 yards of carry and 192 yards of total distance, which is much more on par and accurate to what I actually play on course. Now these settings, again, this is just a ballpark. I only tried a few here just to try to dial in some clubs. Once we're gonna leave it on this and go hit a few more clubs just to get an idea, and I'll tell you usually what my stock yardage is for each of these clubs and what we're actually getting on here. This actually might be a little too strong distance-wise, so again, you guys, if you have the ability to go to a TrackMan or a GC Quad and use some of your clubs and actually get a really good accurate range of your stock yardages for all your clubs, you'll be able to match this up pretty easily and pretty accurately. I, at the moment, don't have access to that, so I'm just kind of going based on my years of experience of what I've been playing yardages to. So another one here with the 6-iron. That was again to the right, but as you can see, I hit that one a little fat, again to the right. See if we can straighten one out here, but again, what you would expect. Killed off some distance because of the slice, and I hit it fat, so that only went 185 total with 178 of carry, which is, in my opinion, that's pretty close to what I would expect that shot to be. Oh, that one was real fat. Again, I'm no pro, but yeah, and see that one only went 156, and that one, for how fat I hit it, that's actually probably accurate, but compared to what we were having before, I was hitting them pretty clean, and it was only going about that. So see if we can get one close to that 190 number here and straight. Club twisted in my hands. All right, 6-iron, that's enough out of you. Now we're gonna go something a little bit lower. We're gonna go 9-iron here. And again, I want to be clear, I'm not trying to jack these numbers up to make myself look like I hit it further than I actually do. I'm actually just trying to play shots, not even here with the driving range, but that can be helpful, especially with these new targets, but mainly just for the Home Tee Hero courses. So everything before, it was everything outside of 100 yards, I would basically have to add 20 yards to everything. So if I can adjust the settings and get it pretty accurate, I'll be able to actually hit the real clubs that I would be on course, which would be, compared to what we have been doing, a pretty big game changer. So we're going to change it down here to 9-iron now. On course, I play this to anywhere between 150 and 160, usually around 155, 160. If I hit it thin, I can probably get closer to 165. If I hit it fat, it's probably closer to 145, 150. But let's see if we can get something close to that 160 number here if I hit one clean. That was thin and up to the right. So not the best strike. It definitely went right, and that was probably pretty close to what the number was. That one was better. That one was struck pretty clean, and there we go. So only 9 yards to the right. Usually I try to be within 5 or 10 yards. Obviously, ideally closer to 0, dispersion left and right, but 149 in the air and 154 total. So that's pretty much exactly what I would play. And if that happened on course, I would say, I mean, I didn't get all of it, but that was pretty close. Hit one more here with the 9-iron. I look forward to hearing any of you guys in the comments of some of the settings that you have. Maybe I can even dial this in even more so it's even more accurate. That was better. I pulled it a little bit, but there we have it. 159 total, so right at that 160-ish number. 154 in the air, which you would expect, not a whole lot of rollout with a 9-iron that you're popping it up, and 5 yards to the right. So, I mean, for me, if this is how the R10, unfortunately, I've been playing months with it where it's been everything is short, but if this is how it came out of the box, I'd be pretty darn happy with that. So try one more club here and then we'll hit driver a few times. We're gonna go to 5-iron on course, and that's the second time it's told me to wake it up now. I don't love that. Hopefully that gets fixed. That's just a slight bug with the actual R10 unit update. That's gonna be annoying if we have to, every 30 seconds if we're not hitting a shot, or even less. That was less than that, but every 10 seconds we're gonna have to wake it up. But All right, so we've got 5-iron here. On course, this is basically my 200 club. So again, hit it thin. I can probably hit it about 210 if it's real thin. If I hit it fat, maybe 185-ish, 190, but you get the idea. I try to play just to general ballpark ranges. I'm not good enough to hit it within a couple yards every time. So see if we can get something close to that 200 number with these current settings. That was definitely right, but 185. And again, how far right that probably went, if that's accurate with the 34, it definitely went right. Obviously that's going to kill some distance, so 185 is probably pretty close to what that actually was. That was fat, but it was straighter. Not so sure about 25 yards right on that one. That one came out pretty straight. That was a little bit cleaner. Possibly a slight bug. I mean, there's definitely a good chance that I've been pulling all these to the right, which is more than likely what's happening, but could also be a slight bug, I'm not sure. But 193, 186, that's pretty close to what I would expect if I hit a similar shot on course. I'm gonna hit one more, see if we can straighten it out just a tad. Caught that one a little heavy, still going to the right, but you guys get the idea. The numbers are a lot closer. Gonna hit a couple drivers here. Now this club particularly, as you guys have seen, is a newer club to me. I've only been using this driver for about 2 weeks, so I'm still trying to get a feel of how far it actually goes and whatnot, but from what I've explained in the other videos, it has been a decent amount longer. From what I could tell, about 10-20 yards longer than my old club, probably due to the fact that this is a 9.5 instead of a 10.5, and it's about half an inch to an inch longer shaft wise. So on course, I expect anywhere between, honestly, between 250 and 300 depending on how I hit it, but if I'm anywhere around 275, that's usually pretty decent. I was lucky if I got anywhere close to that previously with the old settings. I would really smash one in Home Tee Hero and I would get only about 275, 270, which what I would explain is probably closer to 290-ish, 300. And from what others have said and what I've experienced, the shortages with the clubs prior, it was not too bad. It was pretty close, under 100 yards. Not terrible with like pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron. And then as you got longer with the clubs, it would get even worse. So go ahead and try this driver out. We'll see what happens. That was hit pretty good, and there we have it. Apparently I need to work on that 6-iron. Granted, I took about 30 shots beforehand. I'm kind of rushing to get this video out, so the back's not feeling at 100%, but regardless, that's closer to what I would expect on course. That one went pretty straight, only 3 yards to the right, which I've been seeing with this driver. It's been a lot more consistent rather. 273 in the air and 288 total. Again, these numbers might be still, I might have jacked them up too much just to overcompensate, but I was so excited to get these numbers actually closer to what I actually hit on course. I'm fine if, for the sake of this video, these are 5 or 10 yards, even 15 yards too long, and then I'll dial it back once I have some more time to do some testing, and you guys do as well to let me know. Hit a couple more drivers here. That was also hit. I don't know about that one. That one might have been a misread. That one was also hit decent. 4 yards to the left, that's probably pretty close. I think it did turn over a little bit, but I think I got a little more than 242 out of that. All right, there's the slice, but still yardage wise, that's a lot closer to what I would expect out of that kind of strike. See if we can get one more straight one, and I might just hit, for the sake of it, hit 3 hybrid off of here just to see kind of what I get. I haven't actually hit that one yet. Still a slice, that's pretty far to the right, but that has to do with my swing, the current state of my back being pretty sore, and probably too my alignment a little messed up, which I've discussed with the mat. If I don't have this thing anchored into the ground, sometimes it moves a little bit in my feet with the alignment, and my setup gets a little jacked up, so I start either pulling them or slicing them more than I should. But again, a lot closer to what I would expect to actually hit driver instead of 220 or 230 when I know I hit one pretty good. So for the sake of it, we're gonna go ahead and hit 3 hybrid, just because I don't even really know. These are, again, I got this I think a week before my driver, so I've only had this one for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't really even have an idea of how far it goes. I was kind of guessing with the old settings and basically adding 20 or 30 yards to get a ballpark, but once I dial this in, it'll be a lot nicer to know if you're trying out new clubs or whatever the case is, that you can kind of rely on these numbers a little bit more. That was a pretty bad strike, but I'm not super unhappy with that number. 206 is probably pretty close. On course, I've hit this. I've only used it a handful of times, but there was 2 shots that, one was I think 268 off the deck, which I really hit it well, and another one was slightly teed up and I got over 270 with it. So those are few and far between, but the point is, it's definitely not a 220, 230 club, which I've been seeing on here. Should be a little straighter. Again, didn't catch that one great. That was off the heel. And 213 for that kind of strike is probably believable. I haven't really even caught one yet that's been decent. Still off the heel. May have to do a part 2 to this video when the back and the body and the swing is feeling closer to 100%. That one was better. So there we go. 8 yards to the left, 221 total, 209, and that was still not caught 100%. And just for the sake of it, I haven't even tried these yet. I would assume that the wedges are going to be a little bit longer, but we're going to try it out. Generally, we'll start here with a 56. Should be sandish wedge, I think. I don't even know. I'm assuming. I think my pitching wedge is like 45-ish. I think gap wedge would be probably my 52. Sand wedge, I'm guessing, is my 56 here, and then lob wedge would be my 60. But we're gonna try this. This is another new club, so again, I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but this should be, what I'm trying to do is about a 30-yard shot here. So we'll see what happens. That's actually probably pretty close. You'd expect to hit your higher lofted club's a lot straighter, so 1 yard to the left. I do start this pretty far left, 32 in the air and 36 total. That's probably not wildly inaccurate there. Swung a little more than that, and I suspected this probably is, because everything's jacked up with the elevation, that this is going a little bit further than what I was expecting and what I was used to before. But for all I know, this could be actually a 40-yard shot, and before it was showing 30, so it was 10 yards short, and that's what I was playing it as. So who knows? Gonna have to do a lot of testing. Now this shot should be, I'm trying to play a 15-ish yard shot, similar to what I would do from off the green in Home Tee Hero. That's not bad right there, 16. So based on the couple times I've used this club on course and what I've been doing with Home Tee Hero, that seems right in the ballpark of what it is. And again, I've seen people say things like, should be close to 15 again. I've seen people say that you can't expect a whole lot out of the budget launch monitor that it is, and I would agree. I actually really like Home Tee Hero and this Garmin app, especially now with this update, but I would agree for $600 you can't compare it to a GC Quad or TrackMan. But with this new update, I feel like you can, if you have access to one of those units, you could use them either A, side by side, or A, or B, use one of them first and then come back and basically try to match up the settings here to match up where your clubs were going. So I just want to get this out quick. I'm going to try to turn this video around in the future. If nothing drastic changes out of either the Garmin itself update or the update in the Garmin app, I'm hoping that I'll be able to play these more accurate numbers with the videos going forward. I did record some other videos that you'll be seeing over the next week or two maybe, because it does take me a while to edit some of these. So if this is how it stays, the next few videos you might see are still going to have the 20-yard shortage, but after that, once we start filming some new ones after today, July 26th, all of the new videos should be with the more accurate numbers. So that's all I have today. Hopefully this helps. Again, let me know if you have any better settings that you find are way more accurate. I have a feeling that this is still, I'm probably towards the higher end of what the settings are going to be. I'm probably going to dial back that elevation, maybe closer to 42, 4,300, maybe even 4,000, and I can play with the temperature a little bit and the humidity to what I would expect. And unfortunately, hopefully Garmin actually figures it out to where the current local temperature is these accurate numbers. So as the weather gets either A, warmer, or B, colder, if it's 30 degrees colder here, I know the clubs aren't going to go as far, so it'd be nice to be able to accurately reflect that without having to go in and basically tinker with the numbers every single time. But that is what it is. That's asking a lot. So far I'm pretty happy with this update, so until next time guys, I'll see you at the next course.